So here we are, section 1.6. Like I had said in the end of the other video, that the only other formula we haven't looked at is a sphere. Remember, a sphere is a fancy word for ball. It's not a circle. A circle is a two-dimensional shape. A sphere is taking that three-dimensional, right? So a sphere or a ball, a basketball, a volleyball, whatever you want to refer to it as, that's what a sphere is. Three different formulas to look at. 2 for surface area, depending on whether you have or want to use radius or diameter. Surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared if I have radius, or pi times diameter squared if I have diameter. Volume, 4 over 3 times pi times radius cubed. One of the questions, or a style of the question that they liked to use on the provincial exams all the time, was a question similar to this. Let's take this sphere, stick it inside some kind of container, and have you answer questions about the volume that is left over in the space. Okay, so in this case, okay, if I take this sphere and I put it into this cylinder, what you have to understand is that the radius of this sphere is going to be the radius of this cylinder. And that in order to get the height, if this sphere just fit right perfectly into this cylinder, then the height of this cylinder would be 2 times the radius, because from here to here is a radius and from here to here is a radius, so that would be 2 times the radius. So that's all this image is trying to depict for you, is to show you that. Let's play with the formula. Example 1. Diameter of a softball is approximately 4 inches. Determine the surface area of a softball. Now you can use either of these two formulas. It makes absolutely no difference to me. But for me, I have a problem remembering the formulas that just use diameter. I'm old school. We weren't really taught that. We were taught that diameter, and I know you know this already, diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. So I always use the radius, because if I take my diameter and I divide it by 2, that's nasty. Take my diameter and I divide it by 2, I get my radius. So I'm always used to using that. But you can use either of the two formulas. Makes absolutely no difference. Okay. I'm going to use the radius formula, and if I'm doing that, I need to first take this and divide it by 2 to give me a radius of 2 inches. So r is equal to 2 inches. Surface area of my softball is going to be, surface area is equal to 4 pi r squared, which is 4 times pi times my radius, which is not 4 but 2 squared. Into your handy dandy calculator, 4 times pi times 2 squared, or 16 times pi, gives me 50.2654.8. Doesn't tell me what to round to, so I round to 2 decimal places, 50.27. My units, what are my units in? Inches, so it's inches, and this is surface area, so this is squared. Straight up, easy peasy, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing too difficult. There you have it. Okay. Now, example number 2, we work that formula backwards. Surface area of a soccer ball is approximately 250 square inches. What's the diameter of the soccer ball to the nearest tenth of an inch? So with this question, I'll work with the diameter because I know that's where we need to end up being, and I do have the formula right here, so it's not that hard for me to forget what it is. So surface area is equal to pi times diameter squared. I know that's where I need to start because I'm talking about surface area, and I know I'm talking about a sphere. So surface area is equal to pi times diameter squared. What's my surface area? Well, my surface area is 250. 250 equals pi times diameter squared. I'm looking for diameter, so that's my only variable. So the only thing I need to do is get this value here, or this variable by itself. I need to first get rid of pi. So I do the opposite function. I divide by pi, because this is pi times diameter. So the opposite is divide by pi. I divide the other side of the equal sign by pi. That will give me, what's it give me? Gives me, you know what, I have to quickly calculate that because I don't have that written down anywhere. So all clear, 250 divided by pi. No, that's not pi. That's pi. Gives me 79.4 5774715 is equal to d squared. I don't like having that written that way. I'm going to write d squared the other way, so it's going to be 7957745. There's my number, and in order to get d by itself, I need to take the square root. So I take the square root of both sides. D is equal to second function square root. Second function answer 8.9206205881. Does not tell me what to round to. Oh, nearest tenth of an inch, which is 1 decimal place is 8.9. My units would be inches. Example number 2.